Ever wondered what lurks in Victoria's fog-shrouded streets once the sun dips below the horizon? From abandoned asylums to ghostly gold rush towns, these 10 locations hide restless spirits and chilling secrets that refuse to stay buried. Ready to step into the darkness? Let's unveil the top 10 most haunted places in Victoria, Australia. If you dare to keep watching. 1. Ararat Lunatic Asylum. They say the walls of Ararat, Lunatic Asylum, still whisper, if you dare to listen. Hidden deep in the countryside of Victoria, Australia, this monstrous asylum once housed over 13,000 patients, many of whom were never meant to leave. Inside, the air feels wrong, cold, heavy, like something's watching. Nurses reported doors slamming on their own. Visitors claim to hear screaming in empty hallways. And in Ward J, where the most dangerous were locked away, shadows still move, even when no one's there. But the most terrifying tale, Nurse Carrie. She vanished during her night shift. No signs of a struggle, just her flashlight, still on, rolling in the hallway. Some say she never left. Her voice has been recorded, whispering, "Don't let them take me." To this day, ghost hunters enter, and some run out screaming. Welcome to Ararat Lunatic Asylum. But don't get too comfortable. Not all who check in ever leave. 2. Beachworth Asylum. In the quiet town of Beachworth, Victoria, a nightmare still lingers behind crumbling walls. Beachworth Asylum, once home to over 3,000 patients, was known for its cruel treatments, electroshock, isolation, and worse. Many entered, few came out, and some were never even insane. Locals speak of a woman named Matilda, wrongfully admitted. She screamed every night, begging to be freed. One night, her cries just stopped. They found her body, eyes wide open, mouth frozen mid-scream, but no cause of death. Ever since, her room stays icy cold. Visitors report hearing soft weeping, followed by a chilling whisper, "Why won't you believe me?" Security cameras catch figures roaming after midnight, but every time staff rush in, nothing, just silence and shadows that don't belong. Beachworth Asylum doesn't just hold history, it holds onto souls. And once you enter, you may leave your body behind, but your spirit might stay forever. 3. Black Rock House. At first glance, Black Rock House in Victoria, Australia, looks like a charming old mansion by the sea. But once you step inside, the charm fades, and something darker takes its place. Built in 1856, it was meant to be a summer retreat, but guests spoke of footsteps echoing through empty halls, mirrors fogging with handprints, and locked doors that creaked open by themselves. The most chilling tale: a little boy, barefoot, pale, seen wandering the hallway at dusk. He never speaks, just stares with hollow eyes. A psychic once tried to reach him. She collapsed, screaming, "He's not a child!" Visitors have been pushed, scratched. Some refuse to return. In the dining room, chairs move on their own. And at midnight, you might hear a piano playing, though no one has touched it in years. Black Rock House isn't just haunted, it remembers. Every fear, every scream, every soul that dared to trespass. And now, you've heard its story. The question is, will it follow you home? 4. Old Melbourne Jail. Behind the stone walls of Old Melbourne Jail, Victoria, silence isn't safety, it's a warning. This 1800s prison held Australia's most dangerous criminals and watched 133 of them hang. The most infamous, Ned Kelly. But he's not the only one who never left. Guards speak of icy hands gripping their shoulders. Tourists hear chains dragging across the floor, though no one's there. And in cell 17, the air grows thick. Breathing feels harder. People have fainted without reason, always in the same spot. But the darkest tale is of a woman condemned for infanticide. Her cries echo at night, and sometimes, in total darkness, visitors hear a lullaby. Soft, broken, and far too close. Photos capture faces that weren't in the room. Lights flicker, and footsteps follow you when you're completely alone. Old Melbourne Jail isn't just haunted, it punishes. Those who mock it often leave with scratches they can't explain. Step inside if you dare. But remember, not all prisoners were set free. Five. J. Ward Museum. Deep in Ararat, Victoria, stands J. Ward Museum. Once a prison, later an asylum for the criminally insane. But what it holds now is far worse. This place caged the most dangerous minds. Murderers, lunatics, forgotten by time. Some died in their cells. Others were never truly buried. At night, the walls seem to breathe. Whispers drift through the corridors, voices not quite human. In cell 13, visitors feel watched, paralyzed by dread. Cameras malfunction, batteries drain, and some claim to see a man, tall, hollow-eyed, standing in the doorway. He never moves, he never blinks. But when you look again, he's gone. Then there's the furnace room, cold as death, even in summer. A former staff member once said, "That room doesn't just feel evil, it is evil." Doors slam without wind, chains rattle under the floorboards, and those who mock the spirits, they often leave marked. J. Ward doesn't just hold memories, it feeds on fear. Enter if you wish, but don't be surprised if something follows you back into the light. 6. Jalong Gaol Museum. In Victoria's coastal city of Jalong, a fortress of iron and stone still holds echoes of the damned. Jalong Jail Museum. Built in the 1850s, this prison was designed to break men. Harsh, cold, merciless. Executions took place within its walls. Some inmates were buried upright, so their souls would never rest. And judging by the screams still heard at night, they haven't. Visitors report being grabbed by invisible hands. Doors slam shut, locking people inside when no one else is around. In cell block B, shadows crawl across the ceiling, defying light and logic. One tour guide tells of a man seen pacing in a cell until they opened the door, and it was empty. But the bed was warm, as if someone just left. The most feared? The shower block, a place so heavy with dread, some refuse to enter. Voices echo, laughter turns to sobbing, and the drains? They sometimes gurgle, like something's trying to speak. Jalong Gaol may be a museum now, but its inmates never left. And if you listen closely, they're still begging for release. 7. Labasa Mansion. Hidden in the suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria, lies Labasa Mansion, a place of beauty by day and pure dread by night. Built in the 1860s, this grand estate once hosted Melbourne's elite, but wealth couldn't protect it from the darkness that crept in. Tenants began reporting whispers behind closed doors, chandeliers swaying without wind, and cold spots that felt like a breath on the back of the neck. One woman claimed she saw a lady in a black Victorian gown gliding down the staircase, eyes hollow, mouth sewn shut. Paranormal teams captured cries on tape. One word repeated, trapped. In the nursery, toys move on their own. Laughter echoes down the halls, but there are no children inside. Mirrors fog over, and sometimes reflect someone else standing beside you. But the basement? Locals say it's cursed. Heavy footsteps echo from below, even when it's locked. Labasa Mansion may look regal, but beneath the gold and marble, something restless stirs. And once you hear it whisper, you'll never unhear it. Prison Pentridge. In the heart of Coburg, Victoria, the cold stone walls of Prison Pentridge still echo with the cries of the condemned. For over 140 years, this place held Australia's worst: murderers, psychopaths, the doomed. Executions were carried out in secret, bodies buried upright in unmarked graves. Locals say the earth still groans at night. Inside D Division, the air turns sharp, like breathing in sorrow. Shadows shift across the walls. Voices whisper your name, even when you're alone. Some visitors swear they've been followed by a man in tattered clothes, who disappears the moment you turn around. One guard once fled mid-shift, pale and shaking. He said he heard heavy breathing just inches from his ear, but no one was there. The gallows still stand, silent, waiting. Tourists often report feeling a sudden, noose-tight grip around their neck, followed by icy laughter. Pentridge wasn't just a prison, it was a final stop for the lost. And some never moved on. Enter if you dare. But remember, here, death was only the beginning. 9. Old Beachworth Jail. Tucked away in Beachworth, Victoria, the stone walls of Old Beachworth Jail have seen more than just criminals. They've trapped the dead. Built in the 1860s, it once held infamous bushranger Ned Kelly. But it's the others, the forgotten, the broken, who haunt it now. Over 40 executions happened here, and some say the gallows still remember every scream. Visitors speak of sudden chills, doors slamming violently, and lights flickering with no cause. In Cell 6, people feel watched. Some even report waking up with scratches they didn't have before. One night, a tour guide saw a figure pacing in the courtyard. Thinking it was a guest, she followed, only to watch the figure vanish straight through a locked gate. Then there's the chapel, once a place of peace, now filled with whispers, chanting, crying. And sometimes, if you're unlucky, you'll hear a voice behind you say, "Confess." Old Beachworth Jail isn't just a ruin. It's a cage for restless souls. And once the gate closes behind you, something else might be walking out. 10. Sovereign Hill. Nestled in the historic town of Ararat, Victoria, Sovereign Hill stands as a living museum of the gold rush era. But beneath its lively streets, shadows run deep. By day, tourists stroll the recreated 1850s town. But when night falls, whispers of the past awaken. Miners who died in tragic accidents still wander the old tunnels, their desperate cries carried on the wind. Visitors report sudden drops in temperature, strange footsteps echoing behind them, and flickering lanterns with no source. One woman swore she saw a ghostly figure in miner's clothes staring blankly from a window, only to vanish moments later. Others hear faint singing drifting from abandoned buildings, chilling songs of loss and regret. But the darkest secret? The old jailhouse, where prisoners awaited fate in cold cells. Visitors sometimes feel unseen hands clutching their wrists, and some claim the clanging of cell doors at midnight isn't just an echo. Sovereign Hill is more than history. It's a portal, a place where the past never truly dies. And if you linger too long after dusk, you might just become part of its story. Now that you've traveled through abandoned cells, whispered warnings, and icy corridors, remember, these ghosts aren't confined to history books. They still roam Victoria's shadowed corners, waiting for the next curious soul. If your heart's still pounding, don't stop here. Hit subscribe, keep the lights on, and join us for more spine-tingling adventures into the unknown.